Today's career and technical education is not what we grew up with.
Not at all.
We are now charged with preparing students for careers in all kinds of arenas, much greater than what used to be. You went to college or you went to career and tech, and that was it.
Yeah.
No, now it's a mixture of all kinds of things. We are joined today by two very important people who have recently completed a wonderful thing for our students. Marley Morris, you are our Director of Career and Technical Education instead of technology, as we once called it. And he is joined by Kristy Kaizer. Kristy is also the CTE coordinator in our district. And we are so glad both of you are with us because you're going to tell us a little bit about how you are preparing today's students for tomorrow's careers with a Career Expo recently. Is that right?
That's correct.
So what did you do at the Career Expo?
Well, it was a fantastic opportunity for our students and really all the students in the community, because we had something at the Humble Civic Center. All of the programs in CTE, Career Technical Education, were available that night for students of all grades to come take a look. So the idea was students could show up and they could walk through the various rows and look at booths and visit with students. That was the important key. And the high school students could tell them what they were doing in that particular career area. And the fun part was there were plenty of activities. So one area was the culinary arts. We had students actually making bananas Foster.
Oh. Yes.
Smell.
I know. I remember that one.
It was the smells were, it was fantastic. And so students were listening to other students, and that makes it so much more meaningful for them.
Well, because it's hard when you're in high school to decide what you want to be when you grow up. I mean, some kids know early on. Others go to college and, like my daughter, change their majors several times because they're not sure of what they want to do. So this kind of focuses our kids on career paths.
Absolutely.
And it gave them exposure, gave the younger students exposure to the programs that they can look forward to into high school.
Right.
So they got hands-on, got to talk to the students, got to see the products before they register for their courses next year.
I'm sorry, that exposure piece, I mean, to me, that's what's really key in the whole thing. Even the students in culinary arts, and I want you to both talk about some of the other programs and really all of the career pathways that are available in our district, really thanks to your leadership. But even the culinary arts students, it's not that every one of those students are going to become chefs, but it's a way to learn more things, not just culinary arts itself. I mean, there's a lot of science involved in all of that, and just other areas. So it's a very broad learning experience, and the exposure is so important. So when does that start for kids, or when should that start?
Right, I'll handle the framework, and then I'll ask Kristy to talk specifically about some other activities, because I just mentioned one. But CTE is organized into the 16 career clusters. So all the courses within the district are organized within one of those 16, which also falls into one of the 5 endorsements, which is a term we use now with HB5 coming through. Students will hear a lot about that. So it coincides perfectly with the course selection process. So students would have a last opportunity to go through, and they don't have to make one determination, as you both spoke to. Students are still deciding what they want to do. They may have several interests in mind. Humble was forward thinking several years back, and accepting a Bridges program where students are able to log in and define what their interests are. And then, more importantly, they can sign or they can set up a sample course selection for years to come, a degree plan, just like you would in college, really. So that can easily be changed, just like you mentioned too. In college, students' ideas change. So does college, high school, and junior high students too. So the issue is that students can go there, analyze what they want to do, and be exposed to all sorts of areas. And we are organized, like I said, into 16 career clusters, and all within those career clusters we have pathways. So a very wide range of opportunities for kids, anywhere from the STEM opportunities, health science, things of that nature. And Kristy, would you talk something about the activities that we had that night?
I apologize if I leave anybody out because there were so many. We had auto tech there. and there was a competition that they were able to time how fast they could take a tire off and put the tire back on. We had a welding competition. There was we had a felony stop. Our criminal justice students came. We had a felony stop. We had two police cars there, and a regular vehicle, and their fake guns, and they had specific things that they needed to say in order to conduct the felony stop. Oh, culinary arts we talked about. JROTC came. They did some drills for us. That was really neat.
And what about the middle school having the lathes
middle
and
school, they had the lathes there. They had the bridge building or bridge breaking contest. They had the CO2 cars. Rockets were there. Robotics were there. They had their robot, and kids could play with the robot. The finance department was there. All of our animation. I mean, basically everybody came, and there was something to do. You could touch something or see something, and it was a lot of fun.
So it was a fun thing for our kids to do, but also at the same time focusing them a little bit on what their futures might hold.
Absolutely.
And we talked a little bit about changing their minds. It's a lot cheaper to change your mind in high school than it is to change your mind in college and lose credits. So the nice thing is you're helping these kids to kind of put a focus on a future. What do you see for the future for these kids? Because I know things have changed through the years. They once went into one area, and now all of the technology has directed them in another area. What do you see for our students today?
That's the gorgeous part about CTE, is that every year it does change. Every year we analyze all our programs and see if it's a fit for our area. So if there are some technologies that are out there that we don't yet have that are a demand for our area, well, we go after them. Several areas that we're contemplating is an LVN, program where students will have a license in vocational nursing. A big thing with our local community college here. We've experimented with some fluid dynamics for the oil production field. That's more of a STEM thing too, so that's in high demand as well. And all this goes back to students finding that interest in that 6th grade, 7th grade, really 7th grade year. It's just kind of honing in on some areas of interest. Again, they're not having to sign on any dotted line, but to have something in mind, and then we found that once they find that interest in mind, that as they go through high school, it'll make more sense. It will have meaning to them.
Exactly.
And that's what we're about. That's what's fun about CTE, is that whether they're going to college, whether they're going to go immediately into the workforce, CTE is where it's at.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
You make learning relevant.
Well, they've wrapped us up, unfortunately, but you guys have so much to offer, and so many parents, I'm sure, are just now becoming aware that you're there and you can help their student. Across your screen, you'll see a number where you can contact the department if you have any questions or if you'd like to find out more about some programs. So be sure and do that, because I know you welcome parents.
Absolutely.
And any student that has any kind of questions, even if they're not in the program, they can at least
Fantastic.
give
Yes,
you a
absolutely.
shout out. Thank you both for being here, and congratulations on all you're doing. We know you're preparing our students well, and we're grateful.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Don't go away. We're coming right back.